Hello! So, if you remember, in the last few videos we've been talking about how we can take something which is a cubic and putting it into factorised form. But now what we're going to talk about is something called the factor theorem. So basically, if we didn't know what any of these factors were, could we maybe try and find one just by trial and error? So, what are the roots? If these are the factors, remember these three things basically multiply together to give me my polynomial, okay? What are the roots? Well, it's where they equal 0. So it's going to be x equals minus a half. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. I'm also going to have x equals 2 and x equals minus 2. And remember what that means. You know, I found that by setting this thing equal to 0, and it's basically where it crosses the graph. So basically, if I was going to draw this thing, okay, it would draw something like this. So I'd have minus 2 over here, minus a half over here, and positive 2 over here, for example. Badly drawn, but you know, you get the idea. So what that means is that when I plug any one of these three values into my original cubic, that should equal 0. Right, that's basically what it means. So you can verify that. Let's stick minus a half in. So I'm going to get f of minus a half, okay, because now my x just minus a half. And whenever I see an x, I'm just going to replace it with minus a half. So I'm going to have 2 multiplied by minus a half cubed plus minus a half squared minus 8 times minus a half. That should be an 8x minus 4, okay, and I can verify by multiplying that thing out that it should indeed equal 0, and you can check that. And likewise, let's replace it with 2. Okay, so let's replace it with my other one. So put 2 in there, 2 in there, and put 2 in there. You can verify when you multiply that thing out, it should equal 0. And likewise, so that was 2, and let's put minus 2 in. So when we put minus 2 in there, you can verify when we multiply that thing out that that should also equal 0 as well. So basically, the factor theorem is basically saying that if f of a equals 0, okay, so basically I put a number into my polynomial, so let's suppose I've got a cubic or whatever, okay, I put a number into my polynomial, and if it equals 0, then therefore a is a root, which means that x equals a is a root, so that means that x minus a is my factor. Okay, so in other words, if I wasn't told a factor, I could just play around with just sticking numbers in, and as long as I ended up getting 0 in my final thing, so I put numbers into that thing, suppose I wasn't given any factors, I put numbers into that thing, if it equals 0, great, I found a factor, because x minus a, that's my factor. So remember when I said earlier on that the only way that we can factorise polynomials, factorise cubics, if we know one of the factors. Because if we know one of the factors, then we can find out what the quadratic is, and then we can just factorise that, and we can find our 3 factors, right? If I wasn't told a factor, all I'd have to do is I'd just have to play around, and I'd have to say, right, stick a number into my function, if it equals 0, then that's my factor, right? X minus a is my factor. Nice and simple.